Welcome, my friends, to a massive, massive lore dump. Welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh! R What If series. So, this is the third to last GX era tournament for What If series. GX era will have officially gone on half a year by the end of it, by prom/graduation, or promation as I like to call it. Yeah, it's been quite a bit longer than DM. DM only lasted like 4 months. Not even that. It was maybe 3 months. It started in February, March, April, May. Yeah, it was maybe 3.5 months at most. And while I love DM way more than GX, somehow GX just worked for longer. I don't know how, but it did. Anyway, let's get started. This is Yu-Gi-Oh! R. Brought to you by Nightshroud. He wanted this tournament, and he's going to get it. So, let's start with the opening lore. The lore for R... Now, remember, I struggle with his wording, so I'm going to do my best. We'll just see how it goes. Opening lore for R. Yako somehow steals the quantum cube after DSOD and is doing experiments with it and the strange prototype copies of the wicked gods, like with the strange Project R. What is that sentence? Okay, well, we'll continue. It's fine. My sentences look like that a lot too. It's honestly, especially when you're so invested in stuff, you're not focusing on your wording or stuff or anything. So this obviously causes very strange stuff to happen in Domino City. And some characters end up investigating for their own reasons and having to face the card professor guards. Inside the tower, lots of crazy, hilarious stuff is happening. Yako intended on luring some more powerful duelists for dual energy to generate. But it backfires, with many certain individuals coming in, and it becomes a mess of a war inside. So it's just like a big battle royale in Kaibacorp. So that's the end of the opening. See, this is basically, it's kind of sort of similar to the lore for the R manga, but obviously this is connected with DSOD apparently, and it really doesn't have much to do with Yugi because he doesn't exist in What If series, and doesn't have really much to do with Kaiba, except Mokuba's here somehow back from the dead, and it doesn't have anything to do with Joey either. So this is obviously about Nightshroud and his characters, as they are the main characters here. And let's get started with the lore. His insert, Christopher Shadow, often named as Chris, a rather goofy but kind individual that loves dragons a lot. But often, a lot of shenanigans follow his way or finds its way to him, and is often self-aware and breaks the fourth wall. He claims himself to be a dragon tamer, dragon befriender, when a certain young dragon was annoyed by the term tamer. He can see dual spirits, especially dragons. He often travels around either collecting dragon cards he loves to test out or use, or finding dragon spirits to help. After hearing about sightings of a strange entity that is said to resemble a young dragon, he began investigating and trailing behind the entity, trailing behind all the events that the gang went through after sensing great sorrow from the particular dragon as trailing it. He became determined to find it and help this entity. His tailing now led him to Kaibacorp Tower during Yako's takeover and fiasco, not knowing of the chaos he's going to get himself into, but also not knowing of a great friend he will make, nor the crazy adventure that is just the beginning. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, anyway. That is Chris. Now, we get on to the next character. Nope, that ain't the next one. Nope. Here he is. Sorry, they're a little scattered between characters. I'm a little scattered brain from this tournament. It's just such a massive tournament. Mao Tsuki, a rather wacky and strange individual that no one knows where he came from, where he goes, where he goes. No, where he goes, bizarre chaos and ridiculousness unfolds. He claims to be a researcher investigating many things, probably is what you meant to say, such as dimensional and dual monsters. He is quite the self-aware deadpan snarker and fourth wall breaker, and often ends up weirding out others. Even dangerous individuals like Darts, who's dead by the way, when they encountered him, thought that. As of now, he's trailing behind an entity he has discovered and following behind many events the gang has went through and witnessing said events like Chris has. His trailing now leads him to Kaibacorp Tower as well. Coincidentally, he was heading there anyway due to he found out the RA project that Yako is attempting and wanted to stop him due to the fears of Yako messing with stuff he cannot control or understand. The chaos he will go through will lead him to a certain dragon tamer, as said tamer will meet a new friend and start a chaotic adventure. Mao uses quite a strange deck and is willing to duel to get others to calm down in the chaos of the tower as he comes to stop Yako. Weird deck is understatement. Daniela, who is right here. A rather mostly emotionless and strange woman. She feels no pain and acts so monotonous. However, she's an extremely dangerous individual. What, with a deck? With a dual disc? And those who are in tune with mystical or other powers can sense some sort of incredible darkness from her. She and her also dangerous partner, Ricardo, are hunting down a particular entity. They're all hunting down that entity that Chris and Mao are tracking. Hunting for greatly malicious intent, she and Ricardo left great chaos in their wake as they hunt down this entity, going through locations and leaving quite the messes, like through Pegasus Castle during Duelist Kingdom, and through many other events, though others like Max that saw the deadly duo knew nothing and understood nothing of them. I worded it a little bit more coherently. She and Ricardo prefer other deadly means of disposing obstacles, wielding deadly stuff like a flipping big piece of glace. What is a glace? Nightshroud? Can I have some help here? What is glace? Okay, anyway, let me continue. But will duel to eliminate those who stand in her way. Strangely, quite scary music is playing whenever she's chasing someone. Oh my gosh, isn't she a Resident Evil character? I swear I've seen her in like Resident Evil or something. No, it's probably the same game that Centaurian Lich is from. The one I don't know, but it looks like Resident Evil. Ricardo is right here. I promise he looks like a Assassin's Creed guy. He looks like an Assassin's Creed dude. Look at this guy. Ricardo, another strange individual, just like Daniela, who is his partner. He has quite the knowledge over stuff such as alchemy. Ooh, you and Banner would get along. Yes, we would. Much alchemy to be learned. And often wields an old-timey gun, which you can see in this picture if I didn't cut it off. Just like with Daniela, certain others can sense some sort of incredible darkness from him. Him and Daniela are hunting down the entity that Chris and Mao happen to be tracking, and harbor great deadly intent for the entity. Ricardo will not hesitate to use other means of disposing fools who get in his way other than dueling them. He and Daniela left great messes in their wake, such as at Battle City and Doma incident, which is I'm not going to call it Doma incident. It's Waking the Dragons incident, or Paradius, as they hunt down the poor entity in question. Oddly, quite scary music is also playing whenever he's chasing someone. And now we have Spike the Dragon, and oh my gosh, he has the longest lore of all time. Oh, help me. Gods of Egypt, please help me. Give me a second. Okay, let's try this. Spike the Dragon, a young dragon from another world, and the very entity that many mentioned characters were tracking or hunting. Very reliable and quite adorable and smarter than he looks. He's the #1 assistant to the so-called Princess of Friendship he mentions. But some sort of event in his world caused great danger, and somehow Spike ends up waking up in our world. How does that happen? Interesting. He wakes up in Yu-Gi-Oh! World? In WoW Series world? And this is also a flashback tournament, no less. It's a flashback tournament, so this is to establish them as being there the whole time. So this takes place in, obviously, DM. So I think officially, now that I've thought about it, this should count as a DM tournament. This is a DM tournament, guys. Actually, I'm calling it. This is DM tournament. I don't care what anyone says, this is DM tournament. Let's just say that. He does not know where he got this strange card named Odd Eyes Dragon when he woke up holding it, but upon finding out about the game of Duel Monsters, he fell in love with it and realizing the power with it. It might be what he needs to go through this world and save his own too. Okay, that makes sense. I worded it just right there. He's been trailing behind the gang's adventures from the start, such as Duelist Kingdom, all the way to the events of DSOD, often blasting away many dangers that tried to get in his way. With many dragon cards he managed to collect from trailing, and strangely seemed to felt connected to, an oddly great power is emitted, usually in comical manner, as he duels. Even great, powerful ones like Five-Headed Dragon from the data of the stuff of the heavy metal raiders had in the virtual world, because magic shenanigans. Sadly, on his journey through our world, he is also on the run from 2 extremely dangerous people that are hunting him, Daniela and Ricardo. Oddly enough, he seems to be drawing in many dragon duel spirits, and said spirits acting quite adorable. He now journeys to Kaibacorp Tower during Yako's takeover. He came there with clues that makes him believe a very special friend is trapped there and in grave danger because of Yako. Now Spike is heading there to save his friend from Yako's RA project. He has already taken down quite a bunch of Yako's card professors that got in his way prior to the others showing up at the tower. That's because I only allowed 10 card professors, and I know there's a lot more. Well, actually, there's not a lot more, and one of them's a couple of them are not even card professors, but they're Arlor's card professors. He's about to meet a certain dragon tamer and hopes to find his other close friends in a rather crazy adventure that is about to begin. Let me find you. It's going to be fun finding everyone in this. La-di-da-di-da. Yako Tenma, the main villain of this arc, of this tournament. One of the 4 adopted sons of Pegasus. Oh yeah, adopted. Even though he has a real son, a Max Pegasus. One of the 4 adopted sons of Pegasus, who had hilariously neglected to telecast he had flipping adopted sons. And twin brother of Gecko. He was snooping into Pegasus's locked vault because shenanigans, and found some strange prototype cards called the Wicked Gods. Or they are prototype Wicked Gods. Even though they've been using the series before, we're just going to act like this the first time they really were paid attention to. Oh yeah, that's that card that was randomly played in Battle City. Upon contact, The darkness drove him crazy, but apparently also in a rather weird way that makes any dark entity anime sweat drop. He now believes Pegasus is dead and trying to resurrect him. I know, lol, Pegasus still alive, noob. It's not like the manga, he's still alive. And trying to resurrect him, despite many funny instances of others trying to tell him he's not flipping dead in this continuity. He has begun something called the RA Project, Resurrection of Avatar, and somehow yoinked the quantum cube shortly after Shoddy was stopped. Ooh, I like this connection. And then took over, I approve, and then took over Kaibacorp Tower. That part was much easier than expected. Along with the stress, because Kaiba's probably doesn't even care right now. He's too busy in his room being emo in this flashback. Along with a strange entity, a horse with horns and wings. He found in tow to use for the project. What is he trying to resurrect? Reshef? Some generic world-ending boy? Regardless, his project is causing a lot of very bizarre and hilarious stuff to happen inside the tower and around it in the city. He now plans on utilizing the duels in the tower to power up the project. Though he's comically furious that another entity, aka Spike, already blew through half of his card professors before other interested duelists arrive. Looks like this is gonna be a doozy. Next, Gecko Tenma, the brother of Yako. The duelist that Pegasus called the perfect duelist in the manga, which is BS in my opinion, but okay. He's okay, duelist. I like him. Oh crap. I lost my lore. Okay, there it is. Also one of the 4 adopted sons of Pegasus. And twin brother of Yako. Quite worried since his brother, Yako, found some rather strange copies of the wicked gods and was acting crazy. But he couldn't get through to his brother and thus got dragged along this crazy ride. Let's go, brother, together! Though he isn't interested in the project too, since it's apparently messing with dimensional stuff, and was curious on what's beyond them. He noticed that half the card professors they hired already got taken down before the duelists they hoped would show up. Due to a particular entity, aka Spike, Gecko theorizes this one is here presumably to rescue the strange horse entity they had found and hooked up to the dual ring servers for the RA project. Gecko doesn't know if he should be worried about that or worried about 2 extremely dangerous individuals, aka Daniela and Ricardo, that appears to be on Spike's trail too. Mokuba Kaiba, and you've already seen, I showed him long ago, near the beginning of DM. Now, Mokuba is dead. He has been revived. He's revived here. So remember, he's not even Ghost Mokuba. He's just Mokuba. So, previously killed during Duel's Kingdom, but now resurrected by Yako during testing of the RA project. He was to give the prototype copy of the Wicked Eraser. He was given the prototype copy of the Wicked Eraser and became an enforcer for Yako. Mokuba is back and madder than ever. Or well, just grumpy. Kaiba and Max are in for a nasty surprise when this is over. Maybe, that is, if Mokuba doesn't rage quit back to the afterlife if he got screwed in the growing chaos that is happening in the tower. Maybe not. And hearing that a little dragon is blowing through the tower, Mokuba just hopes he's not going to get smacked with ridiculousness again. He most likely will. Oof. Okay, this guy's on the very end. Where is he? There he is. Masumi Momono. This guy, funny enough, was actually not a card professor, really. He was part of that gang at the very end of the R manga that was in the card shop tournament. And he got smacked by the pharaoh. Masumi Momono, leader of the Store Breakers. Yep, there it is. A group of duelists who just take over card shop stores and take their rare cards. However, he lost to Chris when the dragon lover showed up at a card shop the store breakers was messing with, and things ended humorously badly for Masumi. He then later, so he has beef with him, like past with him of losing. And then later he encounters Spike and got blown away by the little guy in a duel and just bumped into Mao, and Mao just weirded him out hard. He now tries to work with the card professors as a side gig. But upon finding out that Chris is now at the tower, he eagerly wants payback, though he hopes he doesn't run into Spike when he found out the little fella is in the tower and already blew away a bunch of card professors. He got a bad feeling even if he wins somehow wins. He is still going to be steamrolled by whatever the heck is going on in Kaibacorp Tower. What the heck is his boss doing? Richie Merced. Okay. This guy had the second or third coolest deck of the professors, in my opinion. It was so unique in the manga. I will admit, it was one of the few manga series I wish was printed. Richie Merced, one of the 4 adopted sons of Pegasus and leader of the Card Professors Guild, and his group was hired by his fellow adopted brother Yako to be guards as they took over Kaibacorp Tower. He didn't really care about whatever Yako's doing, just seeing this as another simple job. Unfortunately, it's not so simple when it turns out the RA project is causing very crazy stuff to happen. And the mess that is going to happen when a bunch of duelists and others get to the tower. He was quite furious when he found out half of his members got taken down by a little lizard before anyone else showed up to the tower, and also pretty worried due to the entity is nothing to scoff at. That entity is beefy. He's strong. He is not paid enough for this fiasco. Huh. Dupree Scott, this guy with the other really cool deck. One of the, but not the best. There is one card professor I like over the others, of course, for obvious reasons, you know, guys. One of the 4 adopted sons of Pegasus and is considered to be second in command of the Card Professors Guild. Dupree seems a little more interested when he found out the project is messing with dimensional stuff, and wonders if there is any cosmic stuff, due to he was interested in astrology and beings from space. Though, at the same time, concerned when a lot of crazy, hilarious stuff is happening due to the project as well, and hoping he can handle well when he found out half of his fellow members got taken down already before the other duelist even showed. It's going to be a huge mess in the tower, and Dupree fears 2 dangerous individuals showing up might make it worse. If that little fella he saw in the cameras who beaten his fellow members isn't going to wreck everyone up. He also theorizes the little dragon is after that weird purple horse that Yako is using. Reiko Kitamori, she was cool, and her deck has been printed. I even used it for Count Ridley at the beginning of our lore in Death Tea. Reiko Kitamori, one of the most recent members of the Card Professors. Has she only been dueling a week here too? Since it's a different series, you could change it up sometimes. That's the point of the What If series. One of the more recent members of the Card Professors, and despite only starting to play the game recently, she is quite skilled. Yeah, it's true, she almost beat Joey. Joey had to bait her into losing. She is oddly afraid of duelists, though she might get over that fear. But she really is fearful of whoever took down half of her fellow members. But when she found out the intruder was an adorable little dragon, she is not sure she should fear him or just yoink him and hug him. Who knows? She might end up having fun, but she is really worried when RA Project is causing very funny and crazy stuff in the tower and around the city. And more concerned when she finds out a cute horse was being used for said project for some reason. Reiko got a bad feeling that this one is something that little dragon held dear when she overheard a duel with him on a security console. Perhaps she might help Spike. Ooh, gonna betray your friends? Willamette. The guy lost to Kaiba badly in the manga. The Whitehorn Dragon user, one of the members of the Card Professors Guild, and has quite an interest in dragons. Oh, he should be a rival for Chris and Spike. Despite the wacky chaos happening because of Yako's project, he got interested when he finds out a dragon had barged in and wiped out many of his members. He wants to see what made the little guy so tough, and got more excited when he found out Chris had shown up for some reason. Lots of dragons today, and this might be fun. Though, he could have sworn he saw a weird zombie magician just chasing other people and supposedly aura farming? Whatever that means. Good thing that thing isn't dueling today, I think. Zombie magician, that must be Leech. Or Lich. Good thing Novo's not here to beat him again. Yeah, confirmed Novo's not here. Okay, where are you? Mako Kato. She actually is my second favorite deck. I forgot. Merced and Dupree are third and fourth. Second is her. First is definitely... I'm getting to him. Mako Kato, I love her, and she reminds me of my Gram. Part of the Card Professors Guild hired by Yako, and among the oldest, possibly the oldest, members. She's pretty sweet and acts like a grandmother. Yeah, she also had one of the most entertaining duels, and very quick duels, in the manga. She put up a fight against the Pharaoh big time. She showed some skill. She's pretty sweet and acts like a grandmother. Well, she kinda is. She was actually among the members defeated by Spike, but she is still up and kicking to duel. Really? Because she's tougher than she looks, and was lucky to not get caught up in whatever wacky mess is happening. She could have sworn she saw one poor fellow member getting chased by paper dragons. Okay, but she realizes it's due to Spike held back when defeating her, due to even when in desperation and anger that little fella realizing he was about to hurt an old lady, despite she was opposing him. Mako, realizing that Spike is hurting and on a mission to save a friend, she finds Spike adorable like a little grandchild and maybe give him a bunch of toys later on. Aw, Graham. But now she hopes to maybe help when he went on after he defeated her. She hopes that nice young new member Reiko could help her. And now, for my favorite member of the Card Professors, Kirk Dixon. Everyone knows him. He's the OG Machina user. But he ain't the best. That's me. Of course, he won't be using Machinas here because I've specifically requested no one touch Machinas or Karakuris. A member of the Card Professors Guild and a machine specialist. He hopes someday he can face a certain Machina duelist he had heard of, and the gang the fellow was in. That may be, AT and the Metal Raiders, perhaps. Just maybe. Among his machines, he has a few tank cards like Powered Crawler, but now apparently a couple of cards involving Machine Lord that Yako strangely insists he slip into his deck. And even this weird machine card he is pretty sure is not supposed to exist yet. Though he is weirded out by all the chaos and hopefully gets paid good. Well, the Yako probably doesn't pay good. Because, he's probably some spoiled rich kid who got a lot of Peggy's money. So he probably pays well. But when he heard another intruder, aka Mal, has quite a strange and cool machine deck. He does. Well, that's why I mentioned it earlier. He hopes to see it in action. Granted, if he isn't weirded out by this bizarre intruder, though a little worried when he found out an earlier intruder blew through many members and is still in the tower. Uh-oh. Now, we get to Justice. We finally finished Nightshroud's crew, and that was amazing lore. Sorry, I need another drink. Justice. Justice was spending time with his mother. Because remember, this is a flashback. This is not GX. I count this as a DM tournament. Remember this. Justice was spending time with his mother when he heard that the cube was stolen, so he grabs his family and Sky and heads to the Kaibacorp building. He begins seeing strange things, like toothless dancing and the stick bug meme. Well done, Jamie, well done. You caught me off guard with that one. But he slaps himself to push through to help Lee. Angelica. Angelica hates that Justice pulled her into the situation, to be honest. She just wants to be in peace with the dark spirit, because remember, she still had the dark spirit here. But if helping her brother is what it takes to get some peace, then she will do whatever it takes to help him. Sky. Gladly, the former Queen of Games, gladly went with Justice to help Lee get that cube back. She was confused and weirded out by everything she was seeing. But as long as Justice was near her, she knew she would be okay. Miku. Miku followed Lee, of course, as she usually does, and is staying by his side the whole time. She wants to help get the cube back to Lee's family and make him happy. Because remember, it is connected. This is right after DSOD. So this, we can count this as the official last DM tournament. Hopefully, they can go on a date and relax after this. Yeah. But you never get a rest hardly in this lore. Ever. What a series. Queen Victoria. When she was still alive, Queen Victoria was spending time with her son. It says soon, but I must say son. With her soon. When all of a sudden, he tells her that he needs help. He needs help with a friend of his. And of course, she is ready to help him. And is glad to spend time with her son and daughter. Now, new character, where are you? I think you're back here. La-di-da-di-da. There she is. Callista Credence, because now we're in Mitchell's crew. Oh my gosh, you're rivaling. Her lore rivals Spike the Dragons. You know, Spike at least has one record. He has the longest lore ever. Callista Credence, the CEO and founder of Soulhauser Incorporated. Really? The main HQ of Soulhauser is located in Dublin, Ireland. Callista herself is German/Irish. Though more German than Irish. Back in the day, she dated fellow German Franz Gruber. Back in the day. She's like 10. Okay, I'm just gonna ignore it. Whatever. She dated fellow German Franz Gruber, though they eventually broke up. While on vacation in Ireland, I'm guessing her age is like much older. She's like 30-some. She's a young 30. While on vacation in Ireland, to explore the other side of her family, Callista found a large plot of land for sale and bought it in order to build what she hoped would become the greatest scientific facility on Earth, which she dubbed Soulhauser Incorporated. She contacted her ex-boyfriend early on to work for Soulhauser, as he is the only cryptozoologist she knows. And Callista wanted Soulhauser to include all fields of scientific study. She now comes to Kaibacorp to speak with Kaibax in regard to the new school she heard he was setting up. Ah, I love your connection here. Mitchell's trying. As she wants to establish a Soulhauser laboratory. So this is how it happened. Oh, so this is how Soulhauser happened. On the outer edge of the island's forest. Hoping that some of the students will decide to come work for Soulhauser upon their graduation. However, she finds only Yako Tenma and a bunch of car professors in the Kaibacorp building, and decides to fight her way through, figuring Kaiba X is being held hostage, and she wants to make sure her fellow CEO is okay. She uses a Gagagigo deck, which kind of what evil Nova was using. His was more like just vanilla beatdown, actually, with his dual spirit. And now the next new Mitchell character, Perry Moon. a Neptunian scientist, and the older brother of Lila Moon. His ship landed in Dublin, and he quickly found work with Solhauser. He has become Callista's right-hand man and accompanies her to Kaibacorp as her bodyguard. He also regularly finds himself undermining Dr. Bendu's schemes, and while he would remain in Dublin while his sister is attending Duel Academy, she would keep him informed as to Doof's actions on the island. He uses a sun-themed deck. Now for Michael and Alice Uriel, this is both their lores. The Uriel siblings were celebrating their dad's election as U.S. president. I can never get over this. When the CIA was contacted by someone at Kaibacorp, who informed them of a hostile takeover. Michael and Alice immediately take up the mission to save Kaibacorp, figuring they can handle it fast and get back to the White House in no time. You sure about that? Unless you use your broken UA deck. I'm not sure about that, Mitch. Wisteria, Professor Wisteria, Raziel Uriel. Oof, what a name. She's not one to let her husband have all the fun, and chooses to go with Michael to deal with the problem at Kaibacorp. Normally, she will... Oh, right. She's not Professor here yet. It's just Wisteria. My fault. It is just Wisteria. There's no Professor yet. But Pearl... Sorry. Chooses to go with Michael to deal with the problem at Kaibacorp. Normally, she would have brought Pearl along as well, but Pearl is currently sawing logs, and Wisteria doesn't want to wake her up. Lego. Lee was warned previously by Shoddy of the quantum cube going missing sometime after DSOD. As both the current King of Games, that's right, because it is a flashback, he was King of Games here, because this is a flashback, and as guardian of magical items, Lee has been searching for it. Recently, he was struck with a vision from his Millennium Necklace that warned him of Yako's plans. So he had Miku bring him to Kaibacorp to warn Kaiba, only for them to realize that Yako and the card professors are already there. He's starting to get very annoyed by the necklace's inconsistencies and waiting until the very last moment. Well, you know, he'll get really, if he's annoyed now, he'll get really annoyed by the end of GX. Diana Gray. Diana before her mental breakdown, kind of. Well, I don't know, she already was in that coma at this point. Diana has been spending time with her mother ever since she awoke from her coma, along with spending a lot of time with Angelica, of course. She ended up here after hearing Sandra mention a major event she had to report on. So followed out of curiosity. Now, she's wondering who here she'd be able to take down. Note. Oh, as a reminder, he's telling me this is still Dinah secretly, since she was in control at the time, pretending to be Dinah. Whoa! Is that lore dump I should not have added? Blah, 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 blah. You heard nothing? Sandra Gray. Sandra was contacted by a co-worker of hers, Will Scoops. Well, I mean, Dinah's already shown up, so it's not truly like lore, huge ruiner lore dump, you know. Sandra Gray. Sandra was contacted by a co-worker of hers, Will Scoops, and told of an odd conflict occurring at the Kaibacorp building. Sandra has been taking time off work to spend time with Diana. But she can tell this is absolutely important, so decided to come investigate and discover what is going on. You go do it, Sandra. Alexandra was in Kaibacorp as a representative for her husband on a task to get Kaiba to agree to a partnership between them. After all, it helps to have a wealthy group like Kaibacorp on your side, doesn't it? However, Alexandra's heart really hasn't been in it, thanks to her still being upset from a fight her and Helena got into some time ago that they've been yet to make up from. Funnily enough, this did actually make Emo Kaiba enjoy her presence, since she was almost as mopey as him. But you can't be as mopey as me. Sorry. The meeting, as he springs her out of his office with a secret button. The meeting was cut off by Yako's plans. I just imagine Yako storming in the like the wrong room first, like the break room, and no one's there, and he starts monologuing. But then like a second later, you see him storm into Kaiba's office. Now, where was I? Anyway, the meeting was cut off by Yako's plans, so now she's working to assist in stopping him. Brenda Mook. Vampire girl. Brenda had followed her older sister, Tila, to this job of hers, expecting to get a chance to observe her as she worked. However, she witnessed a certain young dragon defeat her sister in a duel, and now she's out for revenge on him. She isn't really on either side of the conflict, and is just doing her own thing here. You know, she's always struggling which side to go on. She did in Vampire Reign too, because she can't choose a side, even though she's a vampire. She didn't truly choose the vampires because she likes her friends. Serenity Wheeler heads to the Kaibacorp building with her friends Mayumi and Mitch-chan, having a strange dream about Mokuba, because he is here, somehow getting the feeling that he needs her help. Her friends Casey and Lexi were tied up with other matters, unfortunately. Mayumi. Now she is here. There she is, which is basically just Jamie. We have twins, but one's Mayumi, one's Jamie. What in the world? Mayumi joins Serenity and Mitch-chan to save Mokuba. She's also hoping to help Joey if she can. She's a friend of the Kawais and is a bit of a romantic. People can't tell the difference between her and the Shea twins. That's what I'm saying. Easily embarrassed, but a pure sweetheart. And now Mitch-chan. Mitch-chan, aka Falcom, a humble stock adventuress who models herself after the bravery of Elf Valkyria. She enjoys fishing, determined to protect Serenity and Mayumi no matter what. No matter what, we'll let the games begin. Anyway, best friends with Casey and Lexi as well. She has a crush on Genie, but also has a crush on Koji Nagumo. She hates pervy boys. Karoko Himikoji, where are you? Did I pass her? I did pass her. There she is. Kuroko Himikoji, a ruthless high schooler, obsessed with her own beauty. She's always seen with a rose in her hair. Hates Serenity, Mayumi, and Mitch-chan with a burning passion. Girlfriend and main accomplice of Hirutani. That's a weird combo, isn't it? Yuma Nakamura. Yuma sees the hero girls struggle and wants to help them after everything they've done for her sister. Thinks Mitch-chan is adorable and cool, causing her to blush. Tries to play matchmaker between Mitch-chan and her sister and introduce her to the wonders of Vietnamese cooking. And that is a hilarious way to end the lore. And we are here. We are at the end of the lore. 35 duelists. My voice is dead. We are going to start the tournament. And yes, I don't have a single character in this. And do you want to know why? I'll tell you why. It feels wrong for me to add in a character for two reasons. I want this to be... and this actually segues first into me apologizing to Lego. Lego, I'm sorry that I should not have added my guys either in last tournament. Because, in my opinion, last tournament, Keith did way too good, way better than I expected. And he mowed through a lot of your guys, and your guys should have got to finals. So I apologize for that. So, especially the Riveras did amazing. So I apologize for that, and I shouldn't have there, and I shouldn't here, and I'm going to honor that here. I'm not adding anyone in, even though I'm very tempted to add in Keith and Pegasus. Pegasus just for the lulz, just because he's still alive and is funny. And Keith because it's also funny because he was in R as kind of a card professor. But we're just going to have this as a great DM flashback tournament, the last DM tournament for now, unless we do another one sometime. So now you guys know. There it is. I'm not in it, but we're going to have fun. I hope you guys enjoy. Remember to like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. Let's enjoy the tournament. See ya.